people. That's what I'm gonna do.
CJGJ.
Yeah, we definitely got to talk about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm tired of these people going CJJG. That ain't it. It's CJGJ.
Get it right.
CJGJ. CJGJ.
This reminds me of season 1. This was the Gary Super Macho Man music. We're going to get this thing started here in a little bit. NFC North open mic.
Up the number.
What's going on, Tina? What's going on, Jeremy? What's going on, Chad?
Oh, what a comment. What's up? You like that? You like that? You like that?
You've had enough of that shit.
You like that?
Playoffs? Playoffs?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Funny.
There it is. What is it? Yeah. Oh my gosh, welcome. My gosh, this is not even my show. I got to move you over here, baby, and I got to turn it over to the Emmy nominated Main event, Mike. I can't even make fun of that. Bam.
Thank you,
got it up
sir.
there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. It's the NFC North Open Mic. I am your host, Mike, and this is the Maestro Russell Wayne, our illustrious producer. We're going to be joined by some panelists today, hopefully representing all four of the teams in the NFC North. And it's a trash talk session, so leave your feelings at the door. Bring your thick skin, and let's get it started. How are you tonight?
Hello to my little friend.
How are you tonight, Russ?
I'm doing great. That was my Scarface drop right there. I'm
I
doing
missed
great.
it.
Oh, wait.
Say hello to my little friend.
Say hello to my little friend.
So many
Oh.
better lines in that movie than that one, though. But that's the famous one, right? I love it. So here it is, NFC North Open Mic. Training camp has begun. We're starting our cabin fever is turning into a full fever pitch now as we are all foaming at the mouth as we head towards the 2023 NFL season and these Detroit Lions opening the season on September the 7th against the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. So we are heading here tonight, though, to talk with all four fan bases and try to, get a little trash talk going, maybe get a little frustration out. How are you, Russ?
I am doing great. I mean, we did a show earlier today, and Jeremy Bulber. So we only have one fan base that is courageous enough to be on the trash talking. Maybe we're the only ones that are allowed to talk trash.
How are you, Jeremy?
I'm fantastic, especially after going 5-1 and the only team to do so in the division last year. Maybe we are the only ones allowed to talk trash.
No, if they think we're annoying now, you wait till this time.
Wait till we win the division.
The bandwagon has a lot of empty seats on it, and they're going to be filling up quick. So, because the other fan bases aren't here, we usually like to drag them through the mud. That usually pulls them out of hiding. But since we're all Lions fans, let's talk about obviously the big gasp that we all let this morning, right? When the news broke that CJ Gardner-Johnson had left the Lions training camp practice field, being carted off, and we all gasped, and we talked about it this morning on the Football Talk with Russell Wayne show, which is on 11 a.m. weekday mornings, broadcasting live into Facebook, and three of us were talking about it, and we were speculating on what it could be.
And it's so
Jeremy,
small, it isn't funny.
There's a very slim chance that it's not that it's good. And it turned out that we were lucky. We did hit the lottery with it. We did. He was carted off the field, but it looks like he's listed as day-to-day, maybe just a knee tweak. And we also breathed a sigh of relief in the afternoon when the news broke that it wasn't serious. Is there anything you can add to the story right now, Jeremy?
The rumor is a player not to be named stepped on him. I think Will Harris did it trying to secure a spot on the roster.
Wow, I don't
You've
know
had
about
enough of that shit
out there. I mean, where'd this source come from?
That's what Field Yates is the one that said he was stepped on by an undisclosed player. I'm assuming it's Will Harris because he's most likely the first one cut.
Oh, you made that assumption.
I made that assumption, yes.
It could have been Chase Lucas for all you know, though.
Right, it could have been Chase Lucas, but I think Chase Lucas, because he's on a rookie contract, makes the practice squad in the second year no matter what.
Right. Well, it is interesting. I saw somebody post in one of the groups today. Maybe Dan Campbell's running these players hard in that mentality of go, go, go. I mean, the NFL has rules in place against practicing them too hard. Do you think that that's an issue, Jeremy?
I don't, because you know what? Every team in the NFL, while players are getting in shape in off-season camps, there's injuries across the board. It's not any one team. The only team that's been hit the worst in the offseason that I know of is really the Ravens.
Yeah.
One year they lost 3 running backs in 2 days.
Right. So, I did see a press conference today with Aleem McNeil, and he says, what are they preaching? What are they talking about right now? What's the direction, the identity of this defense coming into the season? He said, just violence.
I love it.
I love it. Violence. Violence is what mantra. That's what they're preaching. Dan Campbell, the bite and kneecap thing is all funny and all that, but there's a meaning there. He wants to be the toughest team on the field every week that he takes the field. And I'm asking you, Russell Wayne, do you think, is it possible that Dan Campbell is taking that a little too far And I mean, Jeremy's suggesting that, saying that there's a guy stepping on another guy on purpose. That's a heavy accusation, don't you think?
Well, for sure, it's a heavy accusation, but I think there's a little bit of joke that goes along with that, where it's just a little bit of. I don't think that it's such a yeah, it is violent. We do want to be violent, and they better be violent, and that's what they're doing. They're getting 350-pound dudes in the draft, and we want to kick people's asses. When he says stand up and bite a kneecap, we want to be able to win a street fight. We were talking to the what was it? The GOAT Mike, who was a Green Bay Packer fan this morning, and he's blaming this or that and saying that's why they lost the game. You lost because you got your ass kicked in a street fight. Frank Ragnow and our defensive line came right into your spot, slapped you around, and there was nothing you could do about it. Jeremy B could have ran for 100 yards against you guys in that game because you lost the fight up front. You lost the fight with your cool up here. So he's brought a whole bunch of guys with that dog mentality, and we are ready to come in and kick your asses. There's really nothing you're going to be able to do about it.
Well, I have to be honest. Just before we went on the air, I heard about this, what Jeremy is saying, that, it came out of training camp that an undisclosed player did step on CJGJ. But we don't know if that was intentional. That might have been accidental, right?
Right. I just made the joke. It's Will Harris trying to secure a spot on the roster because this is a trash talking show.
Right.
That being said, Mark Malik brings up another point that I want to say. Teddy Bridgewater was in Detroit for a visit today. Seeing how the best offer he's had all offseason has been from the Detroit Lions, maybe Suckbelt will end up being that QB3 that holds that surface for Jared Goff on the active roster, and QB2 is Teddy Bridgewater.
All right, Jeremy. Like when you go to hit comments that I can't find yet, and then you do a whole take about it, that kind of makes me. I got to go back through here and want to hit some of these other ones. We got.
Let's.
Well, can I get there? Let me get there in the comments and acknowledge the people that are on the show so far. I want to say hello to Mark. I want to say hello to Dawn. Even though you're saying go Pack go, we can still say hello to you. We can say hello to Joshua, who also says go Pack go. What's up, Chad? Oh, wait till the season starts. Chad says, how many players on Detroit are eligible to start the season?
85-man roster first week of preseason. At the start of regular
I found
season,
you.
It's 54.
Yep, we want to say hello to Eric. Eric, thank you for watching the program. Landon, thank you for watching the program. One Pride, couple Lions fans. Now I found your comment. Teddy Bridgewater was in Detroit today. Okay.
All right. So is that the rumor? What we're hearing, Jeremy, is that the Detroit offer was the best he could do, and it took so long. It wouldn't surprise me if Brad Holmes put an expiration date on it, like he did with Jamal Williams. And the way this guy goes about his business, believe me, I was all about Teddy coming as a great veteran presence to hold the clipboard and be there if Jared Goff goes down. I liked him a lot better than Nate Sudfeld. But just the fact that he's waited now, camp has started, and he still hasn't. I'm sure the offer was respectable for what Teddy Bridgewater can get out there. I'm sure of it. So I don't want him now. I don't want him.
I still want him more than Suckbelt.
You've had enough of that shit.
If you couldn't see that this is a great place to be, if I'm Teddy Bridgewater, where else would you want to be?
And John Dorn brings up the same old Lions he bitches about all the time. Lions like to overpay their free agents. We haven't overpaid a free agent since Holmes and Campbell took over. Stop that rhetoric.
That was right. That was number one on the to-do list when they came in. Number two, actually, after they shed all the bullshit contracts, don't overpay for free agents. And stop drafting poorly.
And $6 to $8 million for a backup quarterback is not too much.
Right. Well,
not when Colt McCoy is making 14.
We do got a lot of Packers on here, so I want to switch comments for a minute. I want to talk about the ESPN Power Rankings, which came out today. And these are called future power rankings. And what they do is they measure, they put a percentage on certain areas like front office, GM, coaching, scouting department, the roster, your quarterback. All these things play a percentage in, and they do a power ranking based on your 10-year setup for 10-year success from now. Over the next 10 years, what is the future power ranking? And I'm going to break it to you now how the NFC North did. And it happens to be just the way Russell Wayne called the division to shake out this year. Detroit finished the highest with number 11 in the league in power ranking for futures. Green Bay finished second in the division at 14. Bears finished 21. And the Minnesota Vikings finished 23. How damning is this, Russell Wayne, for the Minnesota Vikings to finish in the basement of a future power ranking?
I mean, if I'm them, I'm probably thinking that all the power rankings are rigged in the favor of all the other teams, and I'm going to be crying and whining like Viking fans do.
You like that?
That was definitely worth a 5-banger on that one right there. Yeah, you guys are in the spot you're in because Kwesi sucks at being a GM, and that's what he does for a living.
Yeah, but if you insult Alexander Madison, they'll come out like turning on the light and the cockroaches running around. So,
yeah, I want.
What do you think of that, Jeremy? You buy anything into those power rankings? Does it mean anything at all?
Well, number one, it's future power rankings. You know, it's over a 10-year window.
Right.
That being said, I think they have it almost right. I don't know who's worse, the Vikings or Bears right now, because that all hinges on whether or not Fields develops where he can read past his second read.
Playoffs.
Right. And they finished 21 and 23 respectively, so they're only a couple slots apart anyway. So,
which means one bad move either way.
Who's not? But I got to give the edge to the Bears, as ESPN did, just based on what they did this year as opposed to what Minnesota did. If they're both going to start with a clean slate, the Bears are out of the chute first as far as rebuild. Would you agree with that?
Right, because they started their cutout of bloated contracts last year.
Right. Let us know in the comments. This is open mic night. You can actually join the conversation. Put your question or comment in. We will kick it around our panel. We're about to drag the Packers through the mud. Maybe that'll be
well, I can go through some of these comments if
go
you
ahead,
want,
let's do
right?
it.
So, I mean, just acknowledging there, Greg was saying, right, he was agreeing with something. Next man up, referring to CJGJ. We need to address the kicker situation.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Jeremy, what about the kicker situation? We've got Romo, right?
We got Romo, who has the bigger leg. He's hitting anywhere up to 60-yard field goals. The problem is his accuracy from 45 to 60, which is where Riley Patterson has the edge, even though he has a long of 54.
Right, but Riley Patterson, actually a guy we let go and then ended up giving a draft pick back for him to get him back. So cutting Michael Badgley was something that you called
a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. That kind of mark that for you that Michael Badgley would be on the way out. So to answer the question, do you think that the Lions have their kicker between one of those two, or are they still in the market to get one?
They could be in the market because we have the cap room. Even if we sign Bridgewater, you're still talking about, you don't know what it'll be with the signing bonus and the guaranteed money, what the actual cap hit would be for that 1 year. So it could actually end up only being a $5 million cap hit when all's said and done. If that's the case, then we still got $15 million left. And let's say both guys start stinking it up in preseason, then give Robbie Gould a shot.
There you go. What would it cost to get Robbie Gould, would you speculate?
Probably about half of that, because he is a proven kicker and a proven starter. But you could give him a 1-year deal with plenty of incentives and maybe move that down to about $4 or $5 million a year.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're looking. I mean, just to comment on that, I think that they did bring all the kickers in on competition.
Well, Vogel, this is a trash talk thing. If you hop in here, don't be thin-skinned.
Feelings hurt.
I don't want to see people cry.
Well, we got Michael in here, says go Pack go. Chad was referring to the suspensions, and there's John Dorn whining about everything in there again. Lions
Wait,
always
over John Dorn's comment.
Lions like to overpay free agents.
Old Lions, John.
And he's saying Shark was overpaid. Shark was a wide receiver one, technically, as a free agent for about 16 teams. So to get him for $10 million was a bargain, and we stretched it out over 3 years on a futures contract.
And besides,
even if you don't want to call it a bargain, I mean, it was fair.
Get real. No, it was 1 year, $10 million. Okay. And that's half price for a number one receiver. And he was hurt. And if you look at the production that he did have when he played and just average that in, if he hadn't been hurt, he was worth every nickel of what we paid him. It was just fine. He had a great play, as I remember, to convert a first down in the Lambeau litter box.
And remember
wasn't that a fourth down to secure the game? DJ Shark, he was worth every nickel, John, just for that one play. Get out of here.
That was a $10 million pass right there, John.
We're gonna hang a banner in Ford Field next year just because of that play.
Because we knocked the Packers out of the playoffs. We're getting a banner.
Overpaid.
Oh, gosh. I love you, John Dorn. Gosh, your takes are like he comes in and says, I think he's doing this opposite thing.
He just knows he's on my skin. He's my kryptonite.
Welcome, Padawan.
You like that?
Oh,
you get
Will,
5.
Wow. Welcome back to the show, Will. How you doing? One pride, my friend.
Yeah. I'm a Panthers pseudo Lions fan.
Okay.
Playoffs.
Now you're fair
Lions
game.
too.
I gave you a good chance, and you blew it. You led with Panthers. I said one pride, my friend, and you totally burgered that.
One pride. I agree. We're all cats.
Well, you're welcome back, so I respect you. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well.
What do you think about the Detroit Lions finishing number 11 and top of the NFC North in the ESPN Future Power Rankings?
I think it's inevitable. I think every other team took a step back. I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
The Packers, you lost Rodgers. You're starting Love. We don't know much about him. He's still unproven. He played okay when he did have his playing time. You lost Robert Tonyan, who was a good tight end. The defense is suspect, even though they have Jair Alexander.
But not much back there.
And then Chicago, you lost David Montgomery. You got DJ Moore from my Panthers, which makes me mad. But you know what? They're still the Bears. They're not known for their offense. They're known for their defense. So their offense will be still not that great. And then the Vikings, like Jeremy said before and I've said before, they lost so many all-pros. They've lost Dalvin. They're probably somehow soon going to lose Harrison Smith. They lost. They're
going to lose Harrison Smith to
old age.
Who's the other guys? I'm trying to think. That really
Howie Kendricks,
Eric
Patrick Peterson,
Eric Hendricks. Yep, Eric Hendricks is a big loss because Harrison Smith used to be the man, and he's still pretty good. But when Harrison Smith would miss a play, there goes Eric Kendricks. But I think the Lions are destined to be the number one seed in the NFC North.
I think it's week 6.
You like that?
Somewhere in the first half of the season, the Lions, I don't have the date right here in front of me. Lions play the Carolina Panthers this year. Who will you be rooting for, Will?
I think personally.
Personally. You. Who will you be rooting for when the Lions play the Lions? Panthers? And it's okay to be honest, sir. It's okay to say Carolina. I will respect you more if you rep your team. Let's hear it.
I as much as I want to say Carolina, it's going to be Detroit, because look at Detroit. They are a lot better team than us.
You'll be rooting for the
Lions.
Would you be rooting for? Who do you think will win? Who will you be rooting for?
Who I will be rooting for probably is Detroit, because I want to see them have a really good year this year. A really, really good year. And it's because Carolina, let me shut off that main light real quick. That's really bad. Carolina's a young offense. Yeah, you got Bryce Young, the number 1 pick. You got Chuba Hubbard, who's replacing huge footsteps in Christian McCaffrey. You got Ian Thomas, who I don't like as a tight end. You got Hayden Hurst, who's good. We re-signed Bradley Bozeman. That was huge. Our defense, Brian Burns, Jeremy Chin, they're all right. But look at the Lions. Their offense, you got St. Brown, you got Goff, you got Montgomery, you got Gibbs, you got Laporta.
It's a weapon.
Look at the defense. You got Hutch.
There's so many weapons in there.
You got Hutch. You got Houston, who comes off the edge alongside when Hutch is double teamed. And then you got Jack Campbell, the rise of him. He's going to be a beast. So, yeah, I've got the Lions by double digits, probably by 2 touchdowns.
And you'll be rooting for them. So you can't call them my Panthers anymore. Jeremy, what do you think of your protege? Are you swinging him into the right direction?
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to the show, sir. How are you? Chad.
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're good, man. If I remember right, you're Packer fan?
No, Bears.
Bears. That's right.
I got a question for you.
Next Monday as well. So
how do you feel?
Mustache to be a Bear fan, but go ahead.
How do you feel about a fellow Bears fan posting in NFC North the Huddle a 76-7 score of Chicago over Bears in Madden 23? Doesn't that make about as much sense as naming your last year's fantasy team Chicago Bears because they had a winning record?
No.
I love that. It's been a while.
I love that.
It's been a minute.
I love that post too. If you go out there and join our groups, it's NFC North the Huddle and Detroit Lions Villain Squad. Go join our groups and join the conversation.
I will.
Because we bring it up and we talk to crazy characters like we have here, including Chad. Welcome to the show, Chad.
Thank you.
The reason why I asked that is because doesn't that make about as much sense? It's on the same level of Fantasyland.
Well, there's a lot of people on the hype train.
You lost me, Jeremy. I wanted to talk to Chad about having the Bears ranked 21st by the future projections. So ESPN and the so-called experts do not agree with the way that Ryan Poles is building because their future power rankings have them only at 21. Does that concern you, or what do you think about that?
I'm not concerned. I think that ranking has a lot to do with where Justin Fields is at right now.
Correct.
We don't know what we have as a quarterback with Justin Fields. We know he can run like the daylights, but we don't know that he can be the quarterback. So until he either proves that A, he can be a quarterback, or B, he fails again this year, and then depending on what Poles does in the offseason next year as far as a potential replacement for him.
That's great take, Chad, because quarterback actually was weighted of all of the variables that carried the most weight in the score. So definitely, if Justin Fields is not the answer in Chicago, that could alter their score. It had Green Bay in second behind Detroit. Do you agree with that 1 and 2?
And for the future,
as it looks right now, because
it looks right now, I don't know.
You don't know. So
you don't know. Jordan Love, once again, unproven quarterback. So could he be the third? Could Green Bay hit the jackpot 3 times in a row? We'll
could
see.
Be. It could
I
be.
don't know.
They moved up in the draft to get him in the first round. He's super athletic. Got a big arm when you watch his college highlights. Okay, so
I thought we were talking about Green Bay, not Chicago.
Go. So they in fact drove him out the same way they drove out Brett Favre.
Yes.
To get this kid on the field. So it is very possible. Chad's a great point. Right now, do you think these future rankings mean anything?
Absolutely not. They change from week to week once the season starts anyways. One injury changes everything.
Right. They're fun to speculate on in the offseason, though, when you don't have a whole lot to talk about.
Correct.
So if you've got something you can add to this conversation, put it in the comments, please. Put your comment in or your question in. We'll have Russell Wayne bring them out and parade them for us, and we'll kick it around and try to come up with some sort of decent take on it anyway. So next thing I wanted to talk about was the Minnesota Vikings and Kirk Cousins. This could be the last year for Kirk Cousins. And
You like that?
I was hoping to have. There he is. There, that was Kirk. Thank you, Kirk. I'm watching the Netflix series Quarterback. Have any of you watched it? Have you finished the whole thing?
Yes, I did. I finished it last night.
I'm at the episode where Mariota quits.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. If you're not familiar with it, it's a series on Netflix called Quarterback, and it follows the day-to-day lives of Patrick Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, and the NFC North's Kirk Cousins. Every single day of their life, it's like a reality show. I didn't even know it was happening. It was happening all last year. So as we watch it unfold on the show, we can now remember it as football fans watching those games, and we get to see what happened behind the scenes, and it is super, super interesting. And if you've seen it, put your comments down below in the comment section. Let us know what you think of it. I encourage everybody to watch it. It's really cool, and it gives you an insight into the kind of guy Kirk Cousins is. He never swears. He's churchy, he's very, very well-mannered. And this guy's a total likable guy. I want to hate him so bad, but he's also from Michigan, so I got a soft spot for him there. But then again, Matt LaFleur's from Michigan, and I hate him. So,
Ditto.
No, I don't like it's making me like him more. And it makes
You've had enough of that shit.
Is there a market for Kirk Cousins? Jeremy, I want to ask you, is there a market for Kirk Cousins? How big of a contract would he get if he went somewhere, and maybe a potential landing spot you could think of for him?
I don't think any of these game manager quarterbacks will get that 40+ million a year contract ever again, because it's going to take that dual threat quarterback to garner that type of money. That being said, I think 35 to 40 at his age, because he's 32 now?
Yes.
That would be a very good marketable quarterback for a game manager.
Kirk Cousins got more in the tank than a game manager, don't you think? What do you think, Chad? Is
You like that?
Cousins on a 3-year deal anywhere after Minnesota?
I think he's in the $30 to $35 million range, provided he has another solid season this year.
For 3 years?
I think so. He's not that old. He's not Aaron Rodgers, who's 40 years old. He's still under contract. If Kirk Cousins is still, I don't want to say dominant, because he's not necessarily a dominant quarterback, but if he's still one of the upper echelon, upper third of the league as far as getting the job done. Granted, he hasn't gotten the job done in the playoffs, but he's been better than a lot of quarterbacks in this league.
If it were me, if I were Kirk Cousins, I would definitely explore the option of going back to Washington. Now that they have new ownership, they love him there. His wife is from there. They met there. If Sam Howell doesn't work out, they're definitely affordable. They got a great defense. They're loaded with offensive weapons. They get a little more help on the offensive line and in the back half of the defense. And they're a Super Bowl contender if you drop in there. If you're a Minnesota Vikings fan, put it in the comments, please. What do you think about your quarterback's future? I like to rag on him and make funny drops about him, but as I watch this Netflix series, I really start to like him as a human being. And he's a guy I think I would let play on my team any day. Will, do you have an opinion on Kirk Cousins or where he might go?
Yeah, I think he's in that 30 to 35 million. I agree. And you know what? It makes me think of the same what may happen to Dak Prescott as well. They're both in situations where if you don't perform to your highest standards this year, you are gone. So there's going to be a number of teams. You know who I think could play a factor is I think there's a few teams you can look at. For example, like Arizona. I don't think the Kyler Murray experiment's going as well as I think. I know you just re-signed it, but get someone behind him like a Kirk Cousins and push him and say, hey, this guy's behind you. He's capable to do the job. If you're not going to do the job, then he's going to take your job. Or you can look at a situation like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some teams like, I don't know,
Well, that's all right. It's all right, Will. You don't have to have an exact.
No, I just had one. Oh, the Cowboys.
Yep.
Well, Jeremy's teaching you to do run-on sentences. Great. So, Jeremy, kudos to you, my friend. Will, thank you very much for that take. Let's move on. Let's look at what we're looking at in the groups this week, Russ. NFC North, the huddle.
Okay.
the groups. The Detroit Lions Villain Squad is another one of our groups, and there's a lot of characters in these groups who post a lot of crazy stuff. Russ, will you read that one out loud for us?
I can't read that one. That's a little bit too.
I can read it if you need
I
me.
can too.
Go ahead, Will, read it.
Veteran #Lions DB CJ Gardner Johnson went down with a right leg injury Monday and was carted off the field. He was visibly upset, and team captains Bugs and Goff made it point to go comfort him, hoping for better news than it looked.
So
Right.
this was the overreaction one right here. So that I think that's what we're touching on right there. You want me to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I thought that was
Great.
oh, Melvin, Detroit Jesus makes his blessings are known here.
Since week 13
Since
of
week
the 20
13 of the 2021 season, the Lions have averaged 26 points a game. That's a 23-week sample size. This offense is what it is, and your hopes and prayers that it will just fall off a cliff are just that. Hopes and prayers. This is from the one and only Detroit Jesus, Mr. Melvin G., a regular on this show, our good friend. And he's killing it with that take, in my opinion, guys, because he's saying regardless whether it was win or lose, this offense is legit. This offense is legit. And all they have done is added more weapons. And over a 23-week sample size, they're averaging a league-leading points per game average. Jeremy B., is this significant? Is Melvin onto something here?
Absolutely, he is. Our offense is fine. And our defense looks more improved because on paper, everybody looks like that was our weakest points is upgraded.
Hey,
Right.
Jeremy, can you rate it from 1 to 10?
What, our offense?
Yes.
Our offense is a 9 all day.
You like that.
Wow, that is a hell of an offense right there.
A 9 out of 10. Yes, sir.
What's the next post?
Oh, I was hoping somebody else was going to rate that. All right, this was the good. This is good. This is a good post right here.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great post, but there's so many double negatives I can't read it for grammar headache.
Well, can we look through the grammar part of it and let's hit that Barry is the GOAT. Barry is the greatest of all time.
We'll just
Okay.
leave that one right there.
He never.
The great
Oh, wait.
in NFC North, the Huddle, and Detroit Lions Villain Squad, these groups that we're talking about. So if you're kind of in the dark about what all this is about, join the groups. It'll keep you laughing and put your sense in as well. And maybe we'll highlight your post on here too. What do we got? What else we got? That just shows Barry's the GOAT. We don't want to be too homerish with the Lions.
Come on now.
Here's Chad. Here's one for Chad. This is Bears Mafia week 1.
Nah, see, that ain't even right.
That's even for Mike, Mike the Bear fan. He likes it.
Hold on.
I was not in that picture, just for the record.
Are you sure?
No, it's the comment is the best part of this. It is not the picture. It is the comment.
And the comment comes from Jamal Smalls. It says, imagine having this in your gallery and posting it, thinking you saying some fly shit.
You've had enough of that shit.
That would be one of those Mondays you don't show your face at work.
Oh my God.
It's a post right there. But I got to give the win to that one to Jamal. I'm giving the win to
I like that next one. Put
on
that
the
back up.
comeback. He's deep roasting him, saying, you already have this in your gallery.
Yeah. Brady, Cousins, and Fields combined for 7 Super Bowls. Incredible stuff. Considering Brady had 7 of them, it's awesome.
So here it is. This is what we're going to call our roast post of the week. I can't read the name on that. It is from Derek White, who says, Brady, Cousins, and Fields combined for 7 Super Bowls. Incredible stuff. Nice deep roast that it takes you a minute to realize how funny it is, and that's our roast post of the week. Roast post brought to you by the Tom Novans Corporation. No post goes unaudited.
Oh, let's go in there. We share that too, and that's what the whole thing looks like right there. You guys go in there. This is a private group, so this is another group that you shouldn't bring your feelings to. And And by the way, if you post into the comments, I just want you to know that anybody that posts into the comments that they got kicked out of the group, it was because they were an asshole and they went over and above football smack talk and they got kicked out of the group for saying vile stuff. So if you're going to talk smack on it, you're just going to tell on yourself.
Right.
I'm
We
pretty
encourage
sure
smack-
my master will let
we
me join.
practice
I'm
smack
pretty
talk,
sure.
but you know what? We try not to make personal attacks. And sometimes it's hard not to, even when you're just messing around and you're clowning and you want to pick on somebody and call a fat guy fat or whatever. We try to refrain from that, right? We try to let's keep keep it about football. Because let's face it, Chad, there's plenty to make fun of your team without having to go personal.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that on that. They won't allow you to personally attack. They remove people like that. So
I'm blessed to say I've only ever had one 24-hour ban, and it was because somebody said something about my teeth looking like a meth head, and I said, no, that's because I was with your mom and her stuff was so sweet.
Somebody said your teeth look like a meth head.
So am I allowed to join the group as a Padawan?
Your Honor,
Sure.
he opened the door.
oh my gosh. Yeah, no, everybody's welcome. We love talking football.
So I literally told him, I said, no, my teeth is like this because your mom's stuff was so sweet.
Oh,
No, but-
we're going crude. Now there's also, that brings us to the crude line. We don't want to go over the crude line.
Yeah.
That came under, Jeremy. You're good.
So what you're saying is you were rightfully 24-hour ban. That was
Yeah, I earned it. I earned it. And I was proud of it.
Right.
But
Because that guy left the group when I got
anyway,
unbanned.
we don't allow that into NFC North, the huddle, what he's talking about right now. But we do enjoy good football talk. And here we are. What is it? July 24th. It's like the second day of training camp, and we're jacked. We're jacked. We have something to talk about, like football style, right?
So, Chad,
Another wide receiver today.
I
say
mean,
it again.
how about
Hold on. Let's Chad. What'd you say, Chad?
I said Chicago signed another wide receiver today.
Tell us about it.
Isaiah Ford, after a workout this morning, signed with Chicago.
Isaiah Ford.
Yeah.
Can't be worse than Claypool.
Well, he's too busy modeling with his soft tissue.
Had to go there.
You like
And
that?
with a
How's it
name like
for?
Ford, at least he's built up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
well,
Come right out of Detroit.
Oh.
do you know anything about him, Chad?
Not much about him. Probably a special teams signing.
I want you to make a prediction right now, Chad. I want you to go out on a limb, and I want you to predict the Week 1 winner: Green Bay Packers versus Chicago Bears in Chicago in that parking lot called Soldier Field. Tell me, who wins that game?
wait. Before you do that, here's John Dorn.
Welcome to the program, sir.
What's happening, guys?
He is the Lex Luthor of Smack Talk. Welcome, John Dorn.
I thought he was the
Program.
kryptonite to smack talk.
Chad, Week 1, your Bears play John Dorn's Green Bay Packers. Tell John why the Bears are going to win.
Well, Chicago's playing in Soldiers Field.
Lambeau South.
I
Okay.
think Ditka's gonna be there. So, anyways, no.
You gotta do it.
Chicago 24-21 over Green Bay. Fields has some kind of ridiculous run to seal the deal.
Okay. So Chad says take the Bears and the points. John Dorn, rebuttal.
It's gonna be an ass whooping by the fucking Packers, man. I'm telling you.
That's gonna be a little bus ride back to Green
Our
Bay.
defense is going to be hungry to prove people wrong. They're gonna come out hungry. They're gonna come out, and Fields ain't gonna have nowhere to run, nowhere to throw. He's gonna be on his ass a lot.
I got one question for you. Last season, what was Fields' best game?
Against our defense that was fucking pretty horrible last year.
Lions.
And who won?
It
Who
was
won? though?
against
Who won?
Green Bay, the
Who
second
won?
game of the season.
Who won?
Green Bay's second game of the season. I don't know. You beat San Francisco Week 1.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
a
one
pretty
of the
damn good
three.
win.
That was the
How many
weirdest
division
thing.
games did Chicago win last year?
I don't think any, actually. So we got
No.
nowhere to go but up.
That's true. Jim, they'll beat the Lions this year.
Well, I will tell you that the Green Bay Packers are favored in that game by 2.5 points on the road, Chad.
Yep.
So You actually would get 2.5. So even if Justin Fields seals the deal with 1 point, you're a winner if you take the Bears into points
And I
with
did.
your prediction. So, John Dorn, welcome to the program. Any news out of the Green Bay camp today? Chad enlightened us that the Bears signed a receiver I'd never heard of. Anything to report from Green Bay?
Not yet, man. Actually,
Did the keys hurdle yet?
They don't really have practice till Wednesday, till tomorrow. So it's pretty
All right.
much, looks like we'll get Stokes back sooner than we think. So that's a good thing. I want to hear what Rashawn Gary. Hopefully we get him back by week 1.
Right. I did hear that Rashawn Gary's rehab was on track.
Yeah, it is.
He was slated to start, and that's huge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, down the stretch, you get a guy like Rashawn Gary on the defensive line, and that could change the fortunes, especially even that last game against Detroit. He could have made a huge impact in that game. Jeremy, do you think that could have made an impact if Rashawn Gary would have played in that game?
Of course it could. You're talking about an elite pass rusher.
Right.
I don't knock players.
Right.
I just knock fans.
You've had enough of that shit.
The only thing about it,
You guys,
with John Gary, I don't want them to rush him back right away. I want, if he's got to take 4 weeks, first 4 games, let him take his time back. I mean, we got Van Ness. I want to see what that guy. I'm actually anxious to see what that kid can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put him out there. Get him some rep right off the bat.
He's definitely a physical specimen.
So,
Go ahead, Will. You got to take.
no, it was just. Did you guys read about why not KJ Osborne?
Why Jordan Addison was doing 140 in his Lambo? Is that what you're going?
Did you guys find out why?
Yes, I did hear that reason.
Let's hear it.
Let the dog out of the bag.
Dog emergency.
Right.
yeah, I heard that.
Jordan Addison claims that his dog had a medical emergency, but the dog was at home. Okay? The dog was at home, and he was doing 140 miles an hour to get to a vet to help his dog. I don't understand. This is a bunch of bull. This is
At
just
3
stuff his
a.m.
lawyer told him, right? It had dealer plates on the Lambo still because the ink isn't dry on his rookie deal yet.
And rookie deal's already spent already.
They spelled dog wrong in that comment.
Wait, really? Where?
It should have been DAWG, I believe.
Yeah.
Dog. Yeah.
Dog.
Put all the dog in there, right there. So don't be so quick to judge somebody despite how they're being betrayed.
Yes.
Really? You needed to go 140 and endanger human lives to save your dog at 3 a.m. to get into a veterinary hospital that was open at 3 a.m.?
And the dog was still at home.
At 3 a.m. Gosh. My dog stopped breathing at
The fact remains that
My dog stopped breathing at the house, so I went to pick the vet up from the vet hospital to save him.
Yeah,
Get the work
that's
that
pretty
way.
weak, Rob Haspels.
Pretty weak. Pretty weak. I actually went and looked at some highlight reels of Jordan Addison, and I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing a draft pick that high. I think he might pan out to be a serviceable slot receiver. He's not nearly as big as I thought he was. He's not in that Drake London kind of mold, them USC, Keyshawn Johnson tall receivers, right? Them jump ball guys. That's not him. You go and watch his highlights, it's all swing passes. It's all slants, doing things in space. Maybe that's a great compliment.
175 pounds.
But doesn't that seem like too high of a draft pick for a guy like that? When your defense is so bad and you're losing so many pieces, do you think that the Minnesota Vikings missed an opportunity to draft a key defensive piece by taking Jordan Addison? I'll start with you, Jeremy.
It was a bit of a reach. I think he should have been a 2nd or 3rd round pick because he's not an outside guy. He was an outside guy at USC because they didn't have anybody else. He transferred in there because he didn't want to receive passes at Pitt from Keaton Slovis.
You've had enough of that shit.
Dude, he caught 8 touchdown passes. Eight touchdowns. That's it. 8 touchdown passes.
Well, they do only play 13 games if they play a bowl
Only
game.
one of them
USC
Playoffs.
It was a post pattern, and there must have been a blown coverage because he was all alone. And that
Yeah,
was
the guy tripped.
That was it. So
The guy
so
trip.
everyone just tells you it was not impressive to me. This Quezzy guy, I think he's dropping the ball. Will, what do you think about Jordan Addison? Going to be a bust or just a normal guy? Not worth the draft pick or yes?
I think he's going to be a normal guy. I don't think he's going to be that amazing, but I think he's going to be like a second receiver his whole career.
I agree. What do you think,
Second
Chad?
or third string. Yeah.
I think he's their distraction to try to open up Justin Jefferson. Without him,
Easily.
Jordan Jefferson is constantly double teamed. This gives them another option that they can swing underneath, whatever, to open up the field for Justin Jefferson, I believe.
Yeah, but you could pick up 100 receivers like that and then draft a stud. Let's look at some of the names that were drafted after Jordan Addison that play defense and that were drafted in the first round. It's littered with talent.
And
Go ahead, Jeremy. What?
And then one of Jeremy and I's favorite receiver goes undrafted.
Yeah, Brian Branch. They could have had Brian Branch, the number 1 safety off the board, to learn behind Harrison Smith and then move up with Lewis.
Well, but they'll tell you they drafted Lewis Seen last year.
Yeah.
He hasn't shown anything since
Jordan Addison's just going to be just a guy, a Jag, JAG, just a guy, or is he going to be something special worth that first round pick?
I think he's
just
John Dorn. What do you think?
Well, when he first got drafted, when he came up in that podium, I looked the way he was dressed. I'm like, oh my God, first thing I could think it was Bud Light. Like, man, this dude must be drinking a lot of Bud Light or something. And then he did that 140 and the car. His character, man, he's got bad character. He's got written bust all over him, man.
Got bust written all over.
He's got too much ego. Way too much ego.
Jamez, where are you now? John Dorn said Jordan Addison has bust written all over him.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dorn, for that. I mean, this speeding thing is maybe indicative of maturity, right? You're a rookie. You just signed your rookie deal. What are you doing 140 in a Lambo for? Your head's not on. Does anybody think that this is nothing, or is this something? Chad, what do you think?
I mean, I don't like it. I think these kids are given too much too fast. They're not taught how to handle themselves in a professional manner like they should. Jalen Carter being another one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. It brings back the feeling of Henry Ruggs.
You're right.
So
Henry Ruggs.
Hopefully he learned from this.
Our West Coast Statmaster Greg Rice, that was his take on it. He reminds me of Henry Ruggs. Boy, that's a great take, Chad. Big Dan Davis in the comments says, do you think Denzel Mims makes the Lions roster when it's all said and done? Jeremy Ballrick, what do you think?
Well, I said this earlier, and I'm going to say it again. If he's willing to work hard and put in the effort, he can get that 5th or 6th wide receiver spot. No question about it. Because would you rather have somebody that runs a 4.38, or would you rather have Tom Kennedy that runs a 4.9?
We got
I want a guy that actually catch the ball, though.
Well,
in all actuality, go on Detroit Lions YouTube channel and watch him take 2 of his last 3 passes the last 2 days to the house.
Yeah, got the weak defense right now. I mean, come on now.
No defense.
Will, does Denzel
That defense is good enough to hold Green Bay down.
Whatever. Not this year.
Will, does Denzel Mims make the team?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
5th or 6th.
He's been dropping balls since college.
If he puts in the work.
I have just as many touchdowns as he does.
This is our panel's question.
In 3 fucking years.
Hey, we're not bragging that we're smart on this show, okay? We like I love that you can ask a question to Will and John Dorn and Jeremy answer it and then argue with each other for 5 minutes. And all you've been doing is trying to ask Will the question. Do you want to try one more time?
No, he gave our answer. He gave
okay. So Mims
does make the team, and I do too. And I watched his.
No, can I say something about Mims?
I watched his,
I got a good take on
his interview today. I watched his interview today after training camp, and he said some very telling things to me. Number one, he said as soon as the deal was done, Jared Goff was the first person to call him. He got the playbook almost immediately. He's almost digested it. They said, "Do you have a chip on your shoulder?" Oh, yeah, I got a big chip on my shoulder. I'm out to prove it. You could bet your ass I'm out to prove it. And he made no bones about it. This kid was the 59th overall pick. He knows that organization gave up on him because Karen Rodgers came in and said, no, I need my emotional support animal, Randall Cobb, here. So that made Denzel Mims expendable. And he said, hell yeah, I want to go and play against the Packers twice a year and stick it to them just so I can get back at Aaron Rodgers. That's my take on it anyway. John,
he got kicked to the curb. He got kicked to the curb for a reason. He had plenty of chances to prove himself. People say, oh, it's the quarterback. Don't give me that bullshit about no fucking quarterback. He fucking Wilson was rookie of the year right receiver. Same fucking quarterback. He had his opportunities when their receivers went down. He came in and he couldn't fill it. He fucking kept on dropping balls, running wrong routes. Look at the Vikings game. Dropped the fucking
know how bad this take is over here?
Fourth game winner, and he drops it. No, you don't want Mims, man. He's been a bust.
You want to know how bad this take is right here?
Tell me.
The Green Bay and Dallas's GMs have both bitched that the Lions got him.
Yeah. We could have had him in a trade and we didn't want him.
No, that's not it. He didn't want to come there.
Yeah, right.
He already played with that level of
quarterback. We didn't want him. We got
Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson.
We don't want a bust. He's been proven a bust. He said, give a player 3 years. Give a player 3 years. His 3 years is up, man. He's a bust.
All right. Well,
oh my gosh!
Give the player 3 years. What has he done in 3 years? He hasn't got a touchdown in 3 years.
He played with 6 quarterbacks.
Second round pick. Now you have a fucking
anybody's jockstrap in the NFL. What are you talking about?
Hey, Big Dan Davis, I'm sure that answers your question
one thing
in
about
detail right there. So
it doesn't cost you guys anything unless he goes on your roster.
All right,
good
let's
thing.
reel it in.
And I'm saying if new scenery, maybe he will change. Hope for the best. I'm not I'm cutting the guy totally out now. I mean, you guys go to Lions, maybe we'll make your team.
Did anybody else see the interview with Mims today? I actually saw it too, Mike. I saw the chip. I did see what you're talking about. Yep. He was the last one, and they asked him if he learned the playbook. He said, "I already learned the playbook. I'm ready to go."
Well, maybe this is what he needed. Maybe this is what he needed.
He had Zach Wilson throwing him the ball, John Dorn.
Wilson, but Wilson, the receiver, had over 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards. Zach fucking year.
Wilson
quarterbacks last year to get that wide receiver.
He had receivers go down. He was supposed to step up, and he never stepped up.
Okay. Zach Wilson.
Don't give me that. Don't give me that.
Was his quarterback.
Yeah.
Time for the
Mike White.
Hold on. Here we go. Ready? Put me on the screen. Now.
You want to be on the big screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, there you go.
Hey, Mike.
The views and opinions expressed by John Dorn do not represent the views and opinions or the NFC North Open Mic in any way. All rights reserved. 2022. Please. Thank you.
Oh my God!
All right.
I'm glad that we got the legalities out of the way. Thanks, Mike.
We had to pay the lawyers with that. Chad, thanks for being on the show and showing your face. John Dorn, you too as well for coming into this lion's den and being attacked on all sides. For Will and Jeremy B, be sure to check him out. Jeremy Ballreich at Smoking Jeremy B, biting kneecaps and Smoking Jeremy B. And for the Maestro Russell Wayne, I'm Main Event Mike, and we're saying God bless each and every one of you.
And the same old Lions. Lucky season last year.
One pride. I wasn't even
ready.
No.
5-1 in the NFC North Lions.
Packers taking division, man.
Pretending my screen is frozen.